All right, Ross, welcome to this online test. The reason I wanted to talk to you today was to test our new internet studio. And once we're done, I'll be able to show you the recording and how it looks like from the viewer. The point is that the conversation we're having right now...
It won't be very good quality, will it?
Sorry?
But it's only going to have Skype quality, though, isn't it?
It's only going to have Skype. Well, your end is going to have Skype quality. My end is going to have TV quality, but it's actually not bad. But I will show you the video when we are done. So, but just for point of demonstration now, if you imagine that this was an online transmission, and out in the world there are people who want to know about your work with the economy and creating a new, more just world, what would you say to them? You have, if you were to make like a brief remark of your central message with your book, Occupy Wall Street, which is part of the work we're doing here.
Well, I think one of my major messages is that globally speaking, we're currently on a very dangerous path, which in the worst case could perhaps end civilization as we know it. There are multiple crises facing us, of which perhaps the most dangerous is the climate change, but we're also looking at a number of other crises, overpopulation, overconsumption. We're threatening the whole ecosystem due to our focus on physical growth at a time when the planet cannot take a great deal more. And so what I'm saying basically is that it's time that we take a very serious look at what is the cause of these problems and what are the possible solutions. And in my book you refer to, one of the major causes, I believe, is the way we have organized our international political economic relationships.
I would really like to hear about that. But I would just interrupt you a little bit. Is it possible for you to adjust the camera a little bit so that you get into the center of the screen? Because due to the visual effects, it's a little bit confusing. Or yes, that was better. All right, thank you. Okay, so you're talking about the economic system. When you see the final video, I think you will understand why I wanted to...
Yes, well, I'm saying that...
Okay, go on.
Well, we have to look at the way we have structured our international political and economic system, and the major institutions, which are, I believe, the major causes of a lot of these problems, are the WTO, the World Trade Organization, the International Monetary Fund, and the World Bank, which are all pretty much indirectly under the control of a group of very, very wealthy primarily Americans, but also others, who have an agenda which is very different from that of the vast majority of the world. So the Occupy movement's metaphor of the 1% and the 99% is actually quite good, because it is the 1% which is basically in control of the way that we organize things. And one of the consequences of this is that gradually we see a shift occurring, which has happened for the last 30 years, an upward shift of wealth from the poor and from the middle classes towards the ultra super wealthy, who have gained more and more. They are in a sense extracting wealth from the non-profit making parts of our society, from particularly from the environment, but also from communities, from working people. And I'll give you a couple of examples of the way this works. If you take the World Trade Organization, for example, it is a major stumbling block towards sustainability. The current system in place can never lead to sustainability. For example, if a country or if a corporation decides they would like to take the leadership in introducing more environmental friendly production, what happens? Well, what happens is that the corporations which invest in these new technologies get undercut by foreign corporations who can underbid them because they are operating under different conditions. They do not have the same environmental standards. They're able to exploit sweatshops in the Far East. They're able to place a lot of their profits in tax havens and avoid paying their proper share of taxations. In other words, they are preventing sustainable development from occurring. There's no way in the WTO that a country can say, for example, we will not import your finished products because you have a lower standard of environmental protection. That is just not allowed. Why not? Well, because it's not in the interests of the wealthy owners of the major corporations. They have designed a system which is beneficial to corporations, but which is passing on the real costs of doing their business to the taxpayers and to the destruction of the environment. This is a basic problem. And so if we want to have a sustainable world, we have to make major reforms.
All right. Well, I think we can agree that much of what's going on is very deplorable, and thank you for those words of wisdom. Now, I would like you to touch just briefly on another point, is that now if you imagine these new media technologies, imagine that we had an audience that was actually following this debate and could come with input, and we could create like a global online learning environment. Could you just, what kind of possibilities would you see in creating such a project or such a platform for communication?
Well, I mean, it would be an ideal if we could have a two-way communication. If we could have, for example, contributions coming from the audience, questions being put forward, and have a dynamic argument and a democratic debate. That would be an excellent idea.
Now, what if I told you that it's actually possible to replace me with somebody else who was also Skyping in, and the two of you could have a conversation while all of us listened in, and everybody around the world could follow this on streaming video? What do you think about that?
Yes, that would be excellent. Yeah.
Well, we're playing around with possibilities here, and this is some of the things that we envisage, and I think we can call it a wrap for now. It was very kind of you to participate, and we'll look forward to developing this concept further. And so, thank you for today. And
let me know how your test works out.
Yeah, I will send you the video. All right.
Bye for now.
Bye. All right. So this was an interview with my father, Ross Jackson, who is the author of Occupy Wall Street. And I just made this video as an example of what is possible. And this is a very sort of rough first version of these things, actually just a test for the sound and images. But perhaps something worthwhile came out of it. And so I'm signing out for now. Have a nice day.